Corned beef doesn't contain corn. Not corn kernels, not corn flour, not even corn oil. So why is it called corned beef? The answer has nothing to do with the vegetable we know today and everything to do with salt, language, and survival. Establish the confusion. If you've ever thought about it, the name doesn't make sense. You see bright yellow corn in one place and pink slices of beef in another. There's no overlap. So naturally, the question becomes, was corn ever part of the recipe? The short answer is no, but the long answer takes us back hundreds of years, to a time before refrigerators, before supermarkets, and before modern English meant what it does today. The original meaning of corn. Today, when Americans say corn, they mean maize, the yellow vegetable. But historically, the word corn had a very different meaning. In Old English, corn simply meant a small grain or particle. It could refer to wheat, barley, oats, or any small hard seed. In fact, in different parts of Europe, corn meant whatever the main local grain was. In England, it often meant wheat. In Scotland, it meant oats. It wasn't specific. It just meant grain, the salt grains. Now here's where things connect. Before refrigeration, preserving meat was essential. Fresh beef spoiled quickly, especially during warm seasons or long voyages. So people preserved meat using large, coarse grains of salt. These weren't fine table salt crystals. They were big, chunky salt particles. And those large salt grains were called salt corns. When beef was packed and cured with these salt corns, it became corned beef. Literally, beef treated with grains of salt. Preservation was survival. In the 17th and 18th centuries, preserving food wasn't optional. It was survival. Salt curing allowed meat to last months without spoiling. That made it perfect for long sea voyages, military rations, winter storage. Ireland became one of the largest producers of salted beef in Europe. Irish cattle were abundant. Salt was heavily taxed in England, but cheaper in Ireland. So Ireland began exporting massive quantities of corned beef. It wasn't considered luxury food. It was practical food, durable food. Corned beef and the military, salted beef became standard military and naval rations. Ships crossing the Atlantic depended on it. Sailors would eat salted meat daily for months. It wasn't particularly flavorful. It was often tough, but it didn't rot. And that mattered more than taste. Corned beef became associated with endurance, with survival, with long journeys. The American shift. When Irish immigrants came to America in the 19th century, they brought their food traditions with them. But something changed. In America, the word corn became specific. It no longer meant grain, it meant maize. So now the phrase corned beef started sounding strange. People began assuming corn must somehow be involved. But the name stayed. Because language preserves history, even when meanings shift. Why we still use the name over time, most people forgot the original meaning. The connection to salt grains disappeared from memory. But the word corned remained. Today, it simply describes a curing process. A process rooted in salt preservation. Not vegetables, not farming practices, not animal feed, just salt grains. So the next time you see corned beef on a menu, remember, there's no corn in it. Just a centuries-old reminder of when grains of salt, or corns, were the difference between food lasting weeks or spoiling in days. And that's why it's called corned beef.